Hi, friends. My name is Alyssa Tarr. I am your host. Today, I am going to be covering the home styling mini course. I began my career as an interior stylist with a general love for the whole realm of interior design. I loved watching HGTV. I loved restyling my own home and helping my friends style theirs for as long as I can remember. These are things that I enjoyed. So I tried several career paths and all of them failed. And after a while, I quit looking for a career path until 2015 when I discovered that I could take interior design classes online through the New York Institute of Art and Design. And to say I was excited is the biggest understatement of my life. I found the course for 20% off. I signed up and I started it within a week. It was the best decision of my life, and I'm so glad that I did it. Anyway, when I graduated from the New York Institute of Art and Design, I realized that there was not a clear career path for me. I did not live near any interior design companies, and the ones that I was looking at didn't even align with my values. They weren't something that I felt comfortable going to my friends and family and being like, hey, you should use this service, because it was too expensive. These weren't the ideal clients. And I wanted to serve my people, my friends and family. I wanted to be able to serve them with my career as well. In addition, I bought my first home with my husband, and as I was styling it, I was obviously in the middle of doing schooling as well, and like I said, obsessed with HGTV, and I really struggled with narrowing down my design style to a single one. I couldn't decide whether I was whether I was farmhouse or mid-century modern or traditional. I liked aspects and could respect and appreciate aspects from every single one. And I was like, who am I? Like, how can I define my style? And the reality is, I couldn't by the standards that the world was putting up against me. And as I was talking to my clients in the first years of my business, I realized that they were having similar problems. And so instead of trying to put them in a box, I came up with a formula to help them decide what they liked. Because they were feeling indecisive, I had a series of questions that I would ask them to help them figure out what I now call their desired aesthetic. And the desired aesthetic, I will get into it more later, but essentially it was just, what is the vibe and the look, the overall vibe that you want for your space? And it went way beyond a single design style. So from that foundation, I created Anchor Home Styling, and I created two main resources for the clients that I continually was having. They both fell into two categories. One, they were very self-sufficient. Ooh, that's good. Self-sufficient in their home styling. They were going to do it all themselves. They just needed a little bit of guidance to really know what steps they needed to take and what the best order was. And they were really comfortable doing most of it themselves. They just had a few issues and were mainly concerned with figuring out their desired aesthetic and then moving on from there. So for them, I created the home styling guide, which outlines how to find their desired aesthetic and has worksheets and checklists to help them stay on track throughout the whole styling process. The other clients I had were people, and these were usually repeat customers, who continued to have issues. They would style most of a room, or they would have it styled and be like, something just feels off and I'm not really sure what it is. Or they were struggling with a specific aspect of styling, like the furniture layout, or what paint color to pick, or accent items. It was usually a mixture of those things. And so I realized that I could help them with a single call. So we weren't wasting their time, they weren't wasting my time, and we got together and really quickly figured out the problem, and I gave them a solution to move forward, whether that was a shopping list or a furniture layout or a combination. I gave them something quick, easy, and accessible that they could go implement right away and continue on with their styling process. So I really wanted both of these options to be under $100. My thought process behind that was if somebody already has a budget set aside for home styling, the amount of time, money, and energy they're going to save by asking for my help or by buying a workbook is going to be infinitely more than $100. But I also don't want to put that financial strain on them because I know that over $100, there's a lot you can get for that. So that's what we stuck to, was the under $100 budget. Okay, so the principles of personal home styling are realistic expectations. Know that it's going to take time, money, and energy to style your home in a beautiful, timeless, and authentic way. 2, your desired aesthetic and defining what you truly love and what works in your home. It goes beyond a single design style and gets to the heart of what you want your home to feel like. 3rd are the design elements, putting everything you learn into practice, learning about anchor pieces, accent items, layout, vignettes, visual space, etc., and how each of those plays a role in how your home looks, functions, and feels. Alrighty, up first, realistic expectations. Styling your home takes time, money, energy, intentionality, and being realistic about the outcome. Styling any home is going to require an investment from the owner, whether it's your time moving furniture and decor around to find the best layout for it, or whether you're throwing money at the problem and you're buying all new things because you're in that season of life. Either way, it is an investment, and you are going to get out of it what you put into it. I promise you. So, also, you need to understand that comparing yourself to people in magazines or even on Instagram is just going to be a hassle. Unless you are directly copying their budget and buying the exact items in their home, your home is not going to look Instagram worthy or magazine worthy all the time. It's just not going to happen because you're a real person who lives in a real home and you have a real budget, okay? So, if you're not getting paid to have your home look nice, it's probably going to look lived in, and that's fine. I love that. That is the heart of my home styling. My home is never perfect, and I'm an interior stylist, but I also have the understanding of that. So I think that's a really big deal. And lastly, I want you to understand that your home can be beautiful without being magazine perfect. As long as you love it and it functions well for your family, those are the things that matter. Those are the things that you need to focus on. And if you want to get pretty pictures of it every once in a while, then just shove everything in a corner like all of us Instagram professionals do. Okay? Okay, sounds good. Real quick, let's talk about monetary expectations. If you are buying brand new furniture, here is what you should expect to be paying. For a new couch, $800 to $5,000. And I can verify that because I searched for a new couch that I liked for 2 years. and that's pretty much the range that you're looking at. Armchairs, $150 to $2,000. Dining table, $200 to $5,000, unless you find a good one on Craigslist or Goodwill. Dining chairs, $50 to $500 per chair, y'all, per chair. I hate that so much. I'm not even going to get into how salty I am about how expensive chairs are. Okay. And accent tables. So things like side tables, nightstands, coffee tables, stuff like that. Expect to be paying between $100 and $5,000. So don't get sticker shock. Buying new decor is expensive. And honestly, there are some other expensive pieces that you should look out for. Just be aware of this. Area rugs, you're going to be looking at $150 to $2,000. Shelving, $100 to $1,000. And shelving is like bookshelves or even floating shelves, curio cabinets, things like that. Wall art with the frame and the art, even if you're buying digital prints, you're going to be looking around $50 to $500 with the frames included. And new lighting. So if you're buying a chandelier or sconces, anything like that, expect to be paying around $100 to $3,000. And also take into account that if you are paying a professional, which if you don't know what you're doing, please, for the love of heaven, pay a professional. Depending on your area, that'll probably run you around $200 installation if you're in a smaller town. Like I live in a small town and they charged us $175 to install a light fixture. I honestly didn't price compare that much, but that's what it cost us. So look into it, ask your friends if they've had any professional installation, and go from there. Now, for annoyingly expensive items, throw pillows and blankets. They're about $20 to $100 each. Fricking each pillow is $20 to $100, guys. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Okay. Curtains. Expect to be paying about $100 per window. Think about $30 for the curtain rod and about $20 to $50 per panel, which I hate it, but it is the truth. Okay. It is going to be more if you have taller ceilings or wider windows. I'm sorry. If you want to go the cheap route, though, for window coverings, just buy the $5 Walmart blinds. I promise you, it's absolutely worth it if you're just looking for the privacy aspect. Okay, that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, smaller accent pieces can be a lot more affordable, especially if you go the thrifting route, which for most decor items, I would say definitely do that. Because you can find vases and old books and just tchotchkes in small accent decor, accent items for really affordable if you go the thrifting route. They're also going to be a lot more unique and probably easier to match your desired aesthetic. So one of my favorite aspects of the full home styling guide is I have a list of questions to ask yourself before purchasing an item. And one of the questions that I think is crucial to ask yourself when you're buying smaller items, if you didn't buy that item and put that money instead towards your dream item, how much closer would you be to being able to buy that dream item? So let's say that you find something that you kind of like and it's $5 and you're trying to work on saving towards a couch that is $3,000. If you say no to a $5 item 20 times, you're $100 closer to your goal. And I know that sounds like a lot, but you can literally do that in one shopping trip to Target, I promise. So ask yourself, if I save this money instead of buying the smaller item, how much closer would I be to buying my dream item? That's my 2 cents for you. Okay, Next up is covering the desired aesthetic. The desired aesthetic is the overall way you want your home or specific room to look and feel. So, I have a whole section in my home styling guide that walks you through the exact process for defining and finding your desired aesthetic. To summarize, you take note of what design elements you find yourself continually drawn toward. It can be colors, textures, specific items, or the feelings evoked by those items. For example, whenever I see this deep mossy green that I painted my dresser, I've seen colors like that on Instagram for a while, and no matter what it was, no matter what context it was in, I just felt so like grounded and relaxed when I saw the color, and so I knew I wanted that color in my home. And the best way to do this is just pay attention to recurring themes that you find yourself drawn toward, and then identify the ones that you want for the specific space that you're restyling. In my own home, my dining room, I really just felt like it was craving softness. And we originally did not have a rug under the table because we have kids and we didn't want to mess up an expensive rug. But I ended up finding a really soft, really neutral toned, beautiful beige rug that just screamed softness. Screamed softness. It spoke softness to me. And so I put it in my cart on Walmart.com and I watched the price fluctuate until it got to a price where I was comfortable paying because it was under $100. And they had the size I needed, which was huge. I knew it was meant to be. Anyway, another example of recurring themes that I found myself drawn towards. This has gone back over years. If I look at some of the items that I first purchased for my home, they had a beautiful natural toned wood in them, and that was paired with like whites and light beiges. And so there were just little elements, like I had a little coffee canister that I bought and a sugar canister and shelving, like just little things here and there that I just continually found myself being drawn towards. And so once I sat down and recognized that, I'm like, okay, this is the desired aesthetic that I want for my whole home, not just a room. I love this natural wood tone everywhere on everything. So I hope that helps. So the key is, once you have these themes identified, use them as your true north and align all of the styling elements in your space to those themes. So when I found the rug that I wanted for the dining room, I then found a paint color to match, and I brought in decor items from around the house that paired well with it, that were cohesive or matched well. And the dining room has become my favorite room in the house. You'll see that probably pictured most of all if you follow me anywhere on social media. So the desired aesthetic is the main thing that I focus on with with all my clients, honestly. It was the first thing that led me to start the guide and to this formula that I currently use, my whole styling process, because once my clients identified what their desired aesthetic was, it helped everything else fall into place. They were less indecisive because they had a direction that they were going. They had points to align to with items that they were trying to decide on buying. They were like, okay, it wasn't, oh, should I buy this? I kind of like it, or it's a good deal, or whatever. They were able to look at it and be like, yes, this item absolutely aligns with my desired aesthetic, or no, I'm going to pass on this because it doesn't perfectly align with my desired aesthetic. And I cannot tell you how much time, money, and energy this has saved me and all of my clients. It's my, like, seriously, I can't get past it. It's my favorite aspect of the home styling process. I shouldn't even be giving it to you. It's that good. But because I love you, I'm giving you that tidbit. Alrighty, now that you have your desired aesthetic established, we are going to get down to the basics, the design elements. These are the ideas to focus on when styling your home. So, first of all, is your anchor pieces. These are any decor pieces in your home that you love, that serve an invaluable function, or have an incalculable sentimental value to you or a family member. These pieces align with or are the foundation for the desired aesthetic of a space. So, something that I forgot to cover in the last slide for desired aesthetic is you can use items that you already have in your home to establish your desired aesthetic. For example, in my living room, my couch is the cornerstone, the anchor piece for the whole design. And it's not because I love it or because it's my dream couch, but because I don't hate it. It was in my price range, and we're stuck with it until my kids are responsible enough not to wipe their peanut butter fingers on my couch. So, everything that I buy for the living room aligns with that couch, is going to look good with that couch, or it's going to improve on the look of that couch. Okay, it's going to be cohesive with that. In my dining room, I love our dining table. It was $20 at Goodwill 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't know, a long time ago. Okay, I've had it as long as I've been married, and I love the way it looks. And I make sure that everything I buy is cohesive with that. And then the rug that I brought into the space was also another anchor piece. And so, like I said before, everything aligns with that. So, those are your anchor pieces that cover that. Okay, next up is accent pieces. These are any items you want to add in the space as you style that add visual interest or function and add to your overall desired aesthetic. Anything from side tables to tchotchkes to art, throw pillows, blankets, all of those fall into the category of accent pieces. So, like I said, I bought vases that matched with it, and chairs can be considered accent pieces, in my opinion. Anything that isn't your anchor pieces, I would consider your accent pieces. Okay, next up is visual weight. This was one of the coolest things that I learned at like in interior design school was visual weight. And that is just the amount of visual space or feel that an item fills. So larger patterns, bright colors, bulky items all have more visual weight than, let's say, small patterns, muted colors, and delicate items. So, you know how on HGTV, when they go into a home and they have these giant, bulky furniture pieces in a room, and they're like, oh my gosh, this room is so small. And the realtor is real quick to be like, no, 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 it's just that they have bulky pieces taking up the space. And then they're making over the space and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea there was so much room in here. It's because those bulky pieces are taking up a bunch of visual weight and physical weight. But you're going to want to find a balance in your space. And the best way to do it is by taking a step back and taking a picture. And you'll see where there's visual clutter that you're going to want to get rid of, whether it's too many items in one space or whether it's something needs added to a space because it's too empty, or if you want to add pillows in a room where you have all solid colors. Finding a balance of the visual weight is going to help the space feel more natural and look more beautiful. Alrighty, now that we have the basics covered, here are some tips for cohesive styling, just some general style guidelines to keep in mind. Number 1, to add warmth or coziness to a space, add textural items. So think soft blankets, textured pillows, jute rugs, anything along those lines is a great way to add texture. Another way to add warmth and coziness to your space is have a mix of cool and warm toned colors for balance. So, honestly, my best advice for figuring out cool and warm tones of colors, if you're not familiar with that term, is just to Google it because it's way too much to go into here. Literally, an entire section of my interior design class was figuring out colors. So, not even going to get into that here. Next up, you can mix multiple design styles if you have a clear desired aesthetic. And items from each style can align with that desired aesthetic. So, let's say, for example, your desired aesthetic is words like cozy and comfortable and warm. You can bring in elements from traditional home styling or like traditional style. You can bring elements of vintage in. You can bring elements of farmhouse, anything that aligns with those words and that vision and your color scheme in that space is going to work out. The desired aesthetic is the aligning factor, is what keeps things cohesive, which is why it's such a magical concept, and my clients absolutely love this. Okay, the final thing is to choose neutral or muted main elements like wall color, rugs, large furniture items, etc., if you can, and then use the accent items to add unique and personal moments throughout the space. Accent walls are also a great way to add personal touches in a large scale. So, for example, if let's stick with the cozy, comforting, desired aesthetic, and let's say one of the colors is green, and that it's kind of what I'm doing in my living room. So let's just go with my living room as an example. The walls are currently a really light, muted blue, and so my couch is black and the rug is beige, and so all these elements, they don't compete with each other, and so I can add fun pillows and blankets and patterns with that without taking away from my desired aesthetic, which is really nice to do. If your desired aesthetic is something more bold, by all means, don't take this advice. You don't have to choose anything neutral or muted. You go after it and you get that bold, energizing wow factor. You get it, okay? Just you do you. Alrighty, friends, wrapping this up, I want you to remember that you are the heart of your home. Home is so deeply personal, and I have truly found that the best, most authentic design and style choices come when my clients have full reign on their own decisions. Once you have your desired aesthetic established, you can confidently move forward knowing that the things that you choose are going to align with that, and you can style your home accordingly. If you find yourself feeling stuck as you're going throughout styling your home, or if you're struggling with indecision, I offer one-on-one consultations so that I can help unwind the yarn ball of chaos in your mind. So if you're struggling to choose, or if you aren't really sure what your desired aesthetic is, I can help you navigate that really simply. So I am really excited that you were here and that you tuned in. As a thank you, you are going to receive an email with a discount code for any future purchase, whether that's the home styling guide or a one-on-one consultation. Either way, you can use the code and get that discount. So thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to DM me. On Instagram, I am at Mrs. Alyssa Tarr, or you can email me info@anchorhomestyling.com. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a great night.